I've been hearing a lot about the alphabetic code, and I understand that there are 44 single sounds, or some people say 42, 43, 44, but around about 44 different sounds in the English language, and about 150 graphemes or letters or letter combinations to represent those sounds. This sounds very complicated, and especially for a 5-year-old to learn. How do you simplify it, and what is this alphabetic code?
Right, the alphabetic code is mapping sounds of speech to letters and letter groups. And the trouble is that we haven't really put that into a structure like a chart in the same way that we've done with the alphabet. So when I talk about the alphabet, I say alphabet, and you know what I mean by the alphabet. And if I said write down the alphabet, you could. But we haven't put that same amount of effort into an alphabetic code that we've organised. So what I've tried to do is to take the alphabetic code and put it into a reference chart so that we can understand what's happening. And because there's around 44 sounds, phonemes in our English speech, I've based that in the left-hand column because it comes to an end point. But the spelling alternatives for those sounds, it's actually more than 150, but it was very sensible. I've picked on a sensible number which teaches the majority of the language. And so what I'm doing in effect is saying, right, for this sound, here are all the spelling alternatives for that sound. And I've organised my particular chart because I start off with that sound and then go on to other sounds and do the spelling alternatives. Now for a young 5-year-old, I'm going to say, right, this letter shape is code for S, and it's written like this, which way round is it? That way round. And I'm going to teach them one letter shape to start with. And I'm going to teach A, and then T, and then I, and then P, and so on. And build that up, and as I've taught those letter sounds and the corresponding shapes, I'm going to actually introduce a cumulative word bank so that they can actually apply them for real words for reading and real spoken words for spelling. Later on, I introduce spelling alternatives and pronunciation alternatives.
Okay, Milan.
Here comes the waiter, so we're going to break off and we'll continue this in a minute. But Debbie, the next question is, what are you eating tonight? Yeah, we're here at a very nice restaurant, and we're doing this video, and we've just been served our dinner. So we're wondering whether we should eat our dinner and finish the interview later, or carry on while we eat. And I think it's hard to talk while you're eating. You shouldn't eat with your mouth full. So we're gonna finish this a little bit later. Right, we just finished our dinner, waiting for our dessert, so we're going to try to sneak in one last question, and we'll just follow on from the last question. If you could tell us a bit more about the alphabetic code.
Right, okay, well this is all part of multisensory learning anyway, so we need to hear things, see things, do things. In the case of teaching spelling and writing, we need to write it, we need to see colourful things. And so not only have I organised this alphabetic code into a chart, it also can be available with pictures that are associated with my programme. And so we have exemplar words and pictures to go with that to support the learning. And it can also be organised into colours in the way that I've organised the units of the programme. So there are 12 units of work which are all colour coded, and so there are reference charts so you can see which graphemes are taught in which units. Plus the programme is very, very flexible, so it's for all ages, and it can be used from the beginning to teach reading and spelling and writing right from the very beginning for a young beginner, or it can be used for adults in that same way because the pictures themselves are not patronising, they're not sort of pink and fluffy baby pictures, they're just illustrations. Yep. And it's exactly the same alphabetic code and the same skills of blending all through the word for reading and segmenting all through a spoken word and knowing the shapes, the letter shapes to spell those sounds with, whether you're an adult, a teenager, or a young child.
What about people learning English as a second language?
And it's still the same alphabetic code, but what's really important is that they have a teacher who can speak the English language themselves to take them through the programme, and that the aspect of speaking and listening and understand the English language in a spoken way is also being taught and developed, as well as learning how to read it and write it. But all of that is very much interlinked and is threaded throughout the programme. So the programme is very important for vocabulary development and enrichment, and speaking and listening is emphasised. And everything's cumulative, so all of the word banks and all of the text level stuff and the sentence level stuff, it's all very, very carefully thought through. And all of that is organised around the alphabetic code overview charts. So it's a very important feature of the programme because it describes the code visually. You can teach the programme from Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, or if you want to fill code gaps or teach it as a spelling programme, you can pick focus sounds and teach all of the spelling alternatives for that sound and just move through the units. So the methods and techniques are the same throughout that programme, even though there's about 4 years worth of material there, or longer if you take longer to teach it. It's very, very, very thoroughly thought out based on that alphabetic code overview chart.
Yeah. I understand that people can get the first unit free to try out.
Yes,
is that right?
Yeah, absolutely free. And all of the alphabetic code charts are absolutely free, because I believe that's people's entitlement to know that, and it's very helpful to have it organised and to have it visually presented.
Right.
And also what they can get free is an information booklet, so it describes all about the synthetic phonics teaching principles. And then they get all the startup materials to the programme so that people can evaluate the programme to get a notion of the type of resources that are available. Then it needs to be said that the programme is still in development and will go on being developed to be more and more helpful to people, including more audio-visual resources, which I can do because it's on the internet.
Good, good. And they go to which website to get hold of all of this?
www.Phonicsinternational.com.
Great. And I understand that you are a Cadiddles user?
Absolutely.
So these people who are watching this are...
Yes, it's a website of my dreams, because not only have you got all the words there, all the lyrics which we try to remember from when we were children and can't remember, but you can also get the manuscripts. So if you're able to play a recorder or play a bit of piano, it's there for you, and it's absolutely great website.
Well, thanks, Debbie, and we wish you much success from all the Cadiddles people.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.